Saturday night going up against BC? What are you going to have to do to win?
I mean, I think the formula's been set. Every week we do the same things and we prepare the same way. But BC's a really good team, and as far as just like looking at the record, you might not think so, but you look at some really close losses and just watching them on tape. They're really physical. Last year they were the same way, really physical, always in the right spots. Just really smart and well coached. So they're gonna be a tough team.
Trevor, it seems like you handle yourself really well in all situations. Do you ever let some of the outside talk get to you, bother you? I mean, people are picking apart absolutely everything that you do.
Not really. I mean, that's just something I've accepted, just kind of I've learned throughout my 2 years here now. It's going to happen, being the quarterback here, and really all the guys get the same thing too. Travis, T, like all the guys, they get the same thing. So it's just part of the position we're in, and it just comes with it. So you just have to ignore it as best you can, and just kind of keep I guess that stuff outside of your circle and outside of this building for sure.
Do you ever have to talk to, I don't know, somebody in your family, Coach Streeter, friends about, just working through it at all?
Yeah, I think just having conversations about stuff like that, if it's bothering you, is really important. I mean, I think I do a good job of keeping all the outside noise outside and not really looking at it, but it is good to have people you can bounce things off of and just tell people how you feel if you're struggling with something, or even just, want to get away from football for a little bit. So it's really good.
Did you see on film anything in the first quarter that you didn't already know in real time during the game?
No, I mean, for the most part, I think on my interceptions, I usually know right after what it was, what I did wrong, or whatever. So that's how that was. Right after I threw it and saw it, I was like, okay, yeah, I know that was either dumb, or I know what I was thinking, or whatever it may be. But yeah, I mean, I knew right after those two plays what I did wrong.
Because you know what you did wrong, is there less of a sense of urgency kind of leading up, I guess, during the week to get that corrected because it was so blatant because you didn't know what you did wrong? Or do you feel like there's a sense of urgency to get those mistakes corrected because it might matter more down the line?
I wouldn't say, since I know they were just really bad plays, so I think those are easy fixes. Those are just dumb plays that I made. So I think those are easy fixes. But as far as there is like a sense of urgency for me to get back out to practice and want to, just get all that behind me and kind of start a new week. So I like to do that, especially after a game, either whatever we won big, whatever it may be, or a close game or whatever. I like to start the new week and just, get focused on the next opponent instead of thinking about the week before.
So when you're watching the film with Streeter or the offensive staff, they kind of breeze over those interceptions because it was so obvious, or did they spend a lot of time kind of poking you hard on them?
On ones that are obvious, I mean, they'll just be like, look, it's just a bad play, so it's not, we don't usually go too in depth in that. If it's something else that, something confused me or something like that, then, or we weren't on the same page, then we'll just take more time to fix those.
And for you, because you're so confident in your abilities and your arm, is it difficult to hold back because at times you're like, yeah, I can make that throw, but then you're with Coach Streeter and he's like, don't do that. How do you try to, put all that together and make sure you're making the right reads and throws?
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between, trusting yourself and then just overdoing it and trying to make too many plays. And I think both of those were kind of just trying to look at too much and trying to do too much on both of those. So that's just me. I need to learn a little bit more about just checking it down with the running back, getting Travis, or nothing's there, just throwing it away. So those are two things I can learn from. And then also, but I don't ever want to take away my ability and pushing the ball downfield. So that's something that I was happy with, how I didn't really let those affect me and kind of just kept going and kept firing. So that was something I wanted to make sure that I did, was to not let two bad plays dictate the rest of the game.
On that touchdown to Justin at the end, Coach Scott said you got a plus and a minus on it. Do you feel like that was a throw, though, that if he didn't get it, that it just falls out the back of the end zone?
I think so. I mean, I feel like I put it in a spot where he was going to get it or no one was, but I mean, maybe if he got tipped or something crazy, it could have been bad. But I mean, yeah, looking back on it, in the situation with 17 seconds and we had one timeout left, probably would have been smarter just to check it down or throw it away quick so we can run another play and timeout and either score or get a field goal. But that was just kind of instincts kicking in and trying to make a play.
On that play, Justin, Wade's waves you off. He waves to let you know he's open. Can you see him from 40 yards downfield down there waving you off amongst all that traffic?
Yeah, so I saw him originally, and he was covered, and then when I rolled out, he kind of went back across the end zone, and I saw him. And then when I looked at him, he waved his hand, so we were on the same page.
Is that an example of you not letting those interceptions beat you twice because you were obviously confident in making that type of throw?
Yeah, I think that's where, that's somewhere I don't want to be, is when I do make a mistake, let that affect, how I play from then on. So I just want to play the same way, and I know when I make a bad play or just a dumb throw, so it's just moving on from that and just keep playing the same way.
On another note, how good was it to see Darian Rentrick get his touchdown?
It was awesome. Yeah, that's one of my best friends, so I was super excited for him. And really should have scored the play before, but I didn't pitch it, so I was really happy that he got in there on the next play.
Does the outside criticism ever serve as a extra motivator for you at all, or does it just make absolutely no difference one way you go?
I mean, I think more and more that I've just been around it, I think it just doesn't make a difference. You can use it as motivation, but then you don't want to get caught up in what other people are saying, and just only use that as your fuel. You want it to be internal. You want your team to have these goals and to work for them, not just because other people don't think you can, but just because you want to, and there's things that you want to do. So that's, I think the more and more I'm around it, it just doesn't matter.
Trevor, does it ever get frustrating team-wise when you guys win games, coupled by a big margin, and yet the national ranking goes down a little bit?
I mean, we're just gonna keep doing the same thing. We can't really do anything else. I mean, I think personally I can play a little better, but I mean, as far as a team, the last 2 weeks we've played well and we've won by big margins. So I mean, other than that, I don't really know what else we can do. So we can't. That's what Coach Sweeney always says: don't try to control things that you can't control. We can't control what they're gonna rank us, and that's obvious after the past 2 weeks. So we're just gonna keep playing, and I think in the end it'll work itself out.
You mentioned that you usually know right after what went wrong, but when was the last time that you guys did anything to you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's been times, maybe not even necessarily interceptions,
Sure,
but there's been a few times this year, I guess, people have done some good things just to make things look different, disguise coverages. I can't think of a specific one, but there's been a few times. I think most of my interceptions have been either just bad plays, trying to do too much, or like a tip or just something like that. So, but yeah.
Jeff Scott earlier was mentioning how you really didn't face any adversity last year. Was there any point where you wondered, like, am I going to make it through here without really having a ton of adversity?
No, I kind of knew it was coming eventually. I don't think anyone that goes through college playing doesn't have any adversity. So I knew it was coming eventually. I didn't really think about it too much, and just kind of when it comes up, I'll be ready for it.
Do you think you and Tua are kind of held to a different standard than maybe most of the other quarterbacks? Because when you guys make a mistake, they really kind of just blow it up a little bit.
I mean, I just think that's just the way things are now, is being in the spotlight and being the quarterback at a school like Clemson or Alabama. That's just how it is, and it's something you gotta just kind of come to terms with, and go, okay, that's how it is, and just you just have to live the same way and play like no one's watching. It doesn't really matter what everyone else says, because at the end of the day, you got your team, the coaches that trust you, and that's how you do.
You guys have won each of the last 2 games by blowouts. You dropped a spot in the AP polls each week. Is that anything you guys even casually speak about as players, or even have some fun with it in a way?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it just because it's ironic, just how that works. But I mean, we're just gonna keep working, and like I said, I think it'll all work itself out in the end.
Anybody else? All right.